welcome you to the Thriving in the Age of Disruption podcast series, Viveka, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today.
My pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
And so what I wanted to start off with was to have you introduce yourself.
I'm a small town girl with really very big dreams. I was given the opportunity to dream and also pursue my dreams. And so here I am today, wherever I am today. I owe it to my parents and my family. I think there is no definition of me without my parents in it. Everybody, their parents are very empowering and all that. My parents a little bit more in the sense that I come from a small town, my sister as well. And I knew growing up, I knew we are different. We were brought up the entire society around us was very conservative, but we were, nurtured in a rational and forward-thinking, futuristic way. Yeah. So that made all the difference. Today, I'm at the place where I founded world's first and only Inclusivity-Focused Industry 5.0 Ventures, which is an accelerator as well as startup studio. Basically, my background is medtech. I wasn't even in manufacturing, but during my pregnancy and maternity, I went on to build Singapore's first Industry 4.0 focused accelerator. So that it kind of showed me who I am. I didn't know that I'm capable of building an accelerator from scratch, that too in manufacturing and Industry 4.0, which is not even my field. But what I realized then was that except me, there was no other woman in that field, not a co-founder, not a person in the corporate field or any other stakeholder for that matter. It's not that they don't exist. They are very so lean that I did not encounter them that often. So I thought I should do something by myself, and I thought I will do a women-focused accelerator. But then I thought, why women? There are other representative minorities. We are not statistical minorities. I think even more than half the world's population, but women are statistically big, but representationally minor. So other statistical minorities and representational minorities, I wanted to empower them in the deep tech space. So I started River Venture Studio. That is who I am. There are some recognitions that I think it's not nice of me to just say. People can always go and look at my LinkedIn about the recognitions that I have. But this is how I like to identify myself, a person who is not just preaching about inclusivity and empowerment, but does that. Even if it means to bootstrap when you have an infant and do this, I really believe in what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing about yourself. And you're a highly accomplished young woman. If our listeners go and check you out on LinkedIn, they'll see the list of accolades that you've already put under your belt.
Yes.
So, in this podcast series, when I started it, I started with the premise that, we're living in this age of disruption. And what's going to actually create for people almost like a survival guide would be to have two kinds of mindset. And one was an entrepreneurial mindset, and the other was a crisis-ready mindset.
Yeah.
And in some ways, they both go together.
Yes.
Right?
They are in club. Yeah.
That's true. And so for an entrepreneurial mindset, I define that as someone who has got three attributes. And one is you're being resourceful, which is that you can identify a problem and you can actually define it correctly, because if you do that, then half the problem is won. And number two is that you are able to manage risk and uncertainty. And number three is you're able to create value, not just for yourself and not just financial, but for all your stakeholders, and the value can be non-financial as well. So what I wanted to do was to engage with you how this mindset has shown up in your life, whether it's from that small town to Singapore to what you've accomplished, but more importantly, at each of the turning points, what is it that you saw that had you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question because I really like that you brought it up. I have two companies. One is the River Venture Studio, but there's another one called the Edify Project. If you go to the website, the tagline itself, entrepreneurship is an attitude, because I believe in it. It is an attitude. Well, you define it with three keywords. I define it with a little bit more than three keywords, which includes what you said. Along with that proactiveness, proactive, hardworking, smart working, it's like all of these traits encompassed. So entrepreneurship is an attitude. It is a trait by itself. So I live by it. And going back to your question of how this mindset was created or how it kind of defined who I am, I think it was there because my parents are doctors. They have their own little nursing home. And as I said, they're very different kind of people, right? So I really believe that childhood does influence a lot for an adult. So when you can take your own vacation. So for me, entrepreneur was just that thing, because I saw around me friends, they didn't take any vacation because their parents had to ask permission to their bosses. But for my parents, they made the decisions. So really, that was the reason why I wanted to become my own, an independent owner. At that time, it was not entrepreneurship, it was like a business owner or something. But I was very good academically. So it went on till the PhD, but I always thought I should do something by myself. And yeah, even during my postdoc, whatever I invented, I was trying to commercialize it. That brought me all the recognition. It's a class 3 medical device. So entrepreneurship has all been in everything I do. Even during my PhD, I was the only PhD student who was inside NUS Entrepreneurship Society with the other undergrads around me. I wouldn't say become an entrepreneur. I had it in me. So I was just more and more nurturing it. So that when I started by myself, it was not tech startups, it was an accelerator by itself, which is grooming many startups. It was bigger. It is with me, this taking person. Yeah.
So that's wonderful, right? So what I hear is that it's something that you've been nurturing from young. And it was really great that you had an empowering context around it, because entrepreneurship equals lots of holidays. So if I connect that.
No, it's not that alone. Yeah, I know it's not that alone.
But what it means is that it's almost like a freedom to create the life you want, right? And probably that was really what drew you to that. And also, as you said, you're someone probably who's willing to take risks, because you could have stayed on the academic path and be a great researcher and just invent things, but you wanted to commercialize it. So you're willing to deal with uncertainty, you're willing to take risks. And at the end of the day, there is also this notion about creating value. Which part of value excites you in your entrepreneurship? I probably think it is serving the underserved, or some aspect of an unfulfilled need you see in society or in community, right? Whether it's now having your current accelerator be focused on women entrepreneurs. In the past, maybe even with your medical devices, there was some aspect of a need that was unmet.
That's very true, Ramesh, because for me, it's very simple. I could have been a good researcher. I have a very, for the audience, for the listeners who know about engineering and science publication, I have a first author publication in Nature Biomedical Engineering, which also made it to the cover of Nature Biomedical Engineering. It could have made a good researcher, but I know that I'm not good as a researcher. I'm very good elsewhere. Because what is the use of a very high impact factor journal? It just caters to a few elite academic people. But if someone is not able to use what I have invented in my lifetime, then what is? And that use should be very impactful. As you said, it is a medical device which is trying to, because my medical device was a platform technology. People told me it takes ages to commercialize. You can use the same technology to monitor anything else. It's just a wireless RFID technology, anything very simple. It was only about money, it could have been that. But I told, no, I want to save life, create more value, as you rightly said. So, but okay, I did not end up commercializing. That's a different story. But the thought process is the same. Like I could have just started world's first Industry 5.0 accelerator, and it is huge by itself. But then I thought, Industry 5.0 is sustainability, resilience, and human centricity. And I believe these are also the traits of women: sustainability, resilience, and human centricity. So I thought, we have to do it. I mean, I have to do it. So there was always an impact factor around it.
Covered that part. I just want to ask you, how many people are you actually mentoring in your accelerator right now? And how is that going?
Okay, so I only launched it officially on Jan 7th this year. It's very new. It's very new. But our first cohort, we are rolling it out in April. I mean, for the listeners here, if you're doing a tech in the Industry 5.0 space, we're welcome to be a part of our accelerator. The unique, I mean, it's a common question that I'm asked, like, how different are we? There are 10,000 other accelerators, right? The difference that River produces is that we do a compulsory proof of concept within an MNC. That proof of concept might translate into a purchase order for the startups. So that how big it is. That's what I did in my past life with my Industry 4.0 accelerator. I'm not reinventing anything. I'm just bringing the same thing. But the focus is more on sustainability and all of that these days, and global expansion. If it is a Singaporean startup which wants to go into Vietnam, or a European startup which wants to come to Southeast Asia, or the vice versa, we help them with that too. So yeah, the answer is wait for the first cohort. Yeah, very, very highly talented founders and extremely high quality startups are in the pipeline. Yeah, ready to roll out. Yeah. So
Wonderful. Thank you
yeah.
for sharing with us. I want to move on to the second mindset, and that is a crisis-ready mindset.
Yeah,
So in life, you meet with setbacks and sometimes even a failure. And some of us can fight and overcome it. Some of us flee, or some of us, freeze. How do you react to a crisis? And what do you think have been the practices that you have learned over time that has supported you to deal effectively with crisis, whether it's in your personal life or at work?
I love the question because I have met with a lot of crisis. I think it is something to me that I can only have a stable life for probably half a year, and then I will be into a it could be anything. It could be a traumatic pregnancy that I had, or it could be when I was doing my PhD, my modules and grades were so bad that I might have been kicked out of NUS. Today I am one of NUS outstanding young alumni, but there was a point when I was about to be kicked out. And many things, when I was doing the medical device and trying to commercialize it, I had very bad days at that time too. I think I'm not the person also who runs away from a crisis. I'm a person who stays, and from very young, I always thought if I don't, no one else can. I just really have that mindset that I am the only person who's capable of. But with all honesty, I have to tell you that it does really get overwhelming sometimes. Like, what can I just not be happy for quite some time? But then I also believe that look at me to do something big. Your problems will be big, and I think we have to embrace it. I mean, I could have chosen a simpler lifestyle, but I did not. So I embrace my problems. Yeah.
Great. So what I heard from you is that, you're a fighter and you're not going to run away. But most importantly, you have a positive affirmation almost where you say, if I don't, no one else can. And really, that keeps you there, right? To make sure that you see to that being successfully launched. Now, and, I also heard about the overwhelm that you can have because sometimes it falls on you to actually bring home that project, right? What have you observed over the years about yourself in being able to bring others on board to support you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I really love your questions because it feels like it's tailor made for me. I believe in one. I am always into a crisis because I want to do something big. But as much as I am in a crisis, I'm also surrounded by wonderful humans. I'm also that person who doesn't feel shy about reaching out to people. It could be having coffee with a friend. It could be talking to my parents, my sister, my greatest friends. I don't mind reaching out to people. I'm not afraid at all that people will judge me. Like, oh, you put up such a big face, but you have so many things happening behind you. But that's the reality. What people project, you can be a superstar, but you're a human being, right? I am not ashamed at all to share my story. And it's just that if people are there to listen to you, that's enough already. I think in that way, I have really wonderful humans around me who will, there's been a period during my PhD where I lost my stipend. So there are friends who will cook food for me, eat and go study, get with your modules, different kind of helps. And there are friends who would try to support me financially, even without me asking. That's the most important thing because I don't want to ask for help. The only help that I would ask is, let's meet for coffee and talk, because I just want to get it out of my system. But I always have good human beings around me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, good. So what we are also taking away from this is that creating a big goal is really good because you're up to something, right? And yes, it can be overwhelming, but if you have a good network around you whereby you can be yourself and you can open up and share your vulnerabilities, your failure, it actually helps you because you can let go of stuff.
Yes, yes.
And get back into the game rather than worry about what will people think if this happened or because of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all very positive attitudes like you have described, right? And I appreciate you actually sharing this with our listeners. I want to also move on to another topic, which is related to what you brought up earlier about your accelerator, because it's about sustainability. So how do you define sustainability? I mean, in our consulting, we say that sustainability is the ongoing thriving of a living system. So what is it that you look at? How do you define sustainability?
Yeah, okay. In the context of Industry 5.0, right? So Industry 4.0 is robotics, automation, digitalization. We know all of that. But why I chose to do Industry 5.0, which is a little bit more into the future, is because it has the sustainability, human centricity, and resilience angle to it. Just to focus on the sustainability to it. Okay, so one of my startups, they automated cleaning process inside a semiconductor industry. So by automating, just automating is Industry 4.0. But by automating it, a lot of water is now saved. Instead of a human being washing, just open the tap, you don't know how much water is going to the drain, chit-chatting and cleaning it for a long time. They don't even know how much time they're spending on washing one semiconductor part. But when you automate it, you are now able to understand how much water is being used, how much time is being used. Everything is a resource, a valuable resource, right? So sustainability is in that sense. So if you ask me, are you going to support the startup because it is in robotics? Yes. I would also look at it by automating it. What are you doing sustainable? What is sustainable? By automating the human beings, what happened to them? Did they lose job or did you upskill them? That's human centricity, right? And by automating it, what if a pandemic comes tomorrow? This automated, so is the production still going to happen, or in the factory is the production going to halt somewhere? It shouldn't stop. That kind of angles that we focus on when I work with a startup. So yeah,
that's a great example of Industry 5.0. And you've actually created a very vivid image for me to see the different aspects of how you're impacting it from sustainability, resilience, and human-centric perspective.
Thank you.
So let's move on to another aspect of our podcast, and which is, to explore what is spirituality and where you are in the journey.
Okay. That is a question that doesn't align with the person that I am, but I think, okay, I'm so sorry about my noisy background. Spirituality is something that is not religious or superstitious, according to me. To me, as I mentioned to you, doing something that I love is the most spiritual thing ever. And what do I love? I love entrepreneurship. So when I wake up every day, I don't feel that I shouldn't be going to work or whatever. To me, the work and the professional and personal life both are same. I enjoy doing that, and I'm always out there meeting people, having a cup of coffee. It's like empowering you from within by doing things that you like and doing things that will keep you sane. So I really believe that is spirituality. It could be God for a person, it could be reading book for a person, it could be anything, traveling around the world, doing a bike trip for a person. For me, travel is a very important part of all of that, all the things that I do. And apart from travel, all travel happens once in a while, but on a day-to-day basis, doing things that I love. Despite the fact that I'm crazily busy, I only sleep 3 to 4 hours a night, but I'm like super busy, but I love what I'm doing, and that is spirituality for me.
Wow. So if I was to mirror back what I heard, right? I heard that in spirituality for you, it's all about the connections that you make with people.
That's true.
And the world around you. And it's also about the opportunity to create.
Yes.
Because, we unlike any other, being in this world, we have the ability to create.
Yes.
And so if we can create, then, it's a spiritual journey in that process.
I think it's rightly said. For me, it's actually all about connecting with people, talking, having that cup of coffee and doing what I love, which is creating. Yeah, you put it rightly. Yeah, that's spirituality to me. Yeah.
Okay, great. And do you think it's possible for us to live a simple life?
I think it's sophisticated. To me, simplicity is something very elite, elegant, and sophisticated. In my world, in my mind, that is how I define simplicity. When it is, too cluttered, too complex, and obvious and flashy, that is not simplicity to me. Simplicity is elegance. It's a sophistication of thought, of the way you look, it's the things that you do. Yeah. That's to me simplicity.
Wonderful. And if we had to use 3 words to describe thriving, how would we describe it? What 3 words would you use?
I love the word thriving. Yes. 3 words is life, happiness, purposefulness. To me, these are thriving. You cannot not have a purpose and thrive. You should have a purpose with life if you want to thrive. There's difference between existing and living. I don't believe in existing. I believe in living and thriving, which means purposeful.
That's right. So now I want to, go back to another area which I think you would have a lot to share about, and that's actually about what would you, if I asked you, whether you had a message for young people, young women, right? Young women leaders, young women researchers, what's your message for them?
Oh yeah, I'm oftentimes asked this question. My answer is dream, because I think a dream is a luxury that many girls wouldn't get really. I mean, they don't even know that they could dream. So I would say dream. I was always a girl with dreams. Very, very young, I always thought I will be the president. I mean, because I come from India, right? I'm in Singapore now, but I come from India. Like third grade, fourth grade, I would be thinking I would become the president of India one day, and then like there will be followers. So I was always in a world where I'm the leader. I'm a charismatic leader. That's very important for me. And I always dreamt, and I'm not saying I'm there. It's not in the same format that but I always want to be a leader and not a boss. I'm doing something else, but going towards that. But I think every girl has to dream. My father used to say every girl has to run like 16 times faster than a man to reach where you have to be. And I think that is very true as well. So if you don't have a dream at all, you're not going to run anywhere. You need to dream and run to sustain in this male-friendly world. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, now I'm going to go to the fun part of the interview. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Just give me the first answer that pops to mind, right? Don't overthink it. Okay. So what's your favorite book?
Okay, Agony and Ecstasy. Okay. Yeah, it's a biography of Michelangelo. Yeah.
Great. And if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
If I really want to have dinner with someone, I think Obama, Michelle Obama and Obama. Yes. Yeah, very cliched it may sound, but I have really strong reasons. But yeah.
Great. Yeah. And what's the most unusual food that you have tried?
Oh yeah, so I didn't know that it was venison. It tasted very, I thought it was probably mutton or something, which is something that I don't mind eating. And then I was told it's venison. It's not strange, but yeah, I wouldn't consciously eat venison. Yeah.
Great, I got that. Yeah. And, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Travel the whole world. Like travel every day, just travel. You don't know travel is in my blood, vein, everything. I live for traveling. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter is 1.5 years and she's traveled 7 countries with me already.
Wow.
Yes. And I took her passport size photo when she was 5 days old because I was so deprived of travel through pregnancy. I wanted to travel.
And what's the best advice that you've ever received?
Advice? I get a lot of advice. I don't know. Yes, my father told me, don't look back, keep going. Every day I have these moments of, what am I doing? I didn't even tell this to him, like suddenly over the phone, just go forward. Don't look back. And then I told, thanks. The road looks very difficult, but yeah, just go forward.
We've come to the end of our interview. So thank you for being candid and lively in this discussion to share your thoughts.
Oh my God, Ramesh, I'm so saddened that it has come to an end. You're a wonderful host. You could really psychologically analyze a person. That much I know about you, because when I met with you, that's something that really struck me, the kind of person you are. You really can understand the person opposite to you. So love the questions.
I was glad that we had this conversation.
Sure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome.
It's an honor, actually.